Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Titan City Christmas special. This mini-series, which I've dubbed Silent Night, harkens back to our earliest streams on the network, in that we will be telling a compact story over the course of 5 weeks, instead of the massive sagas we've been doing recently. Tonight's episode is titled, Ho Oh No! Thank you for joining us for your weekly dose of festive superhero shenanigans. My name is Alex, and I will be your humble game master this evening. Tonight we are playing Mutants and Masterminds, the world's greatest superhero RPG, which is produced by Green Ronin Publishing. It is a D20 system that focuses on exciting superhero action. The character creation system offers unlimited customization options to create your superhero, and one of my favorite game mechanics ever is found in M&M, which is the use of hero points as a currency the players have that changes the fate of the story. These points can be used for rerolls, player scene editing, and even modifying or improving a character's powers in a pinch. Hero points are earned by leaning into genre tropes, acting heroically, good role-playing, jokes I think are funny, jokes I think aren't funny, and suffering setbacks just like superheroes in other media. They're also earned from you, the audience. If you follow, subscribe, or donate bits to the stream during our broadcast, you are given a hero point that you may give to the hero or GM of your choice. And since I just resubscribed, I'm going to give my extra hero point to Kat.
Favoritism.
Suck it up, Andy.
I just had to bring that in since we were talking about it post-game, post-stream.
Pre-street.
Pre-stream, yes. If you don't know what Titan City is, it is the setting of my novel series, The Titan City Chronicles. It is an urban fantasy noir series which features mobsters, monsters, magic users, and costume crime fighters all coexisting in an alternate 1930s. The first book is The Magician's Sin, which is the story of a disgruntled immortal wizard named Anson Walker who is trying to end his unnatural existence when the former love of his life is kidnapped. He delves into Titan City's criminal underworld alongside her daughter Caroline in an attempt to rescue his old flame before a magical apocalypse can take place. It is available for purchase on Amazon if you're interested. We've gathered some festive heroes tonight. Say ho ho hello, heroes.
Ho ho hello,
hello,
heroes.
heroes.
Nice. I want to give everyone a chance to tell us a little bit about themselves, the character they will be playing, and have them answer my question of the day, which is, what is your character's favorite holiday tradition? And I'm going to start with Kevin.
Okay, so I'm Kevin. I will be reprising my first Untold Stories Project character, Champion, from the Jurassic period of the channel. His favorite Christmas tradition, obviously, is watching Hans Gruber fall off of Nakatomi Plaza. No, I'm sorry, that's not correct.
Is
No,
Ricky here?
that's
Not yet. Not
just
yet.
in case she watches on the replay. Champion's favorite Christmas tradition would probably be the ceremonial lighting of the Christmas tree in the town square, because it's a community event, and yet at the same time, it doesn't have to be directly involved or terribly close to anyone. Over to Rachel.
Me? Okay. Well, my name is Rachel, and this will be my character's debut. Never played with her before, but she is a green witch, or a witch with elemental magic, who has the goal of replacing Mother Nature because she believes that she can do a better job to save the planet. So she will be using her abilities and her social skills to knock her out of the running. And her favorite holiday tradition would probably be the gift giving, the exchange, because she used to do that with her family before they passed out in the forest.
Awesome.
Cool.
And
All right.
Jonesy.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I am Jonesy, and tonight I'll be playing Josiah Bartholomew Wright III. He is a relic from the Victorian era who is still bumping around for some unnatural reasons, and a dabbler in the esoteric and the arcane. As far as his favorite holiday tradition, he doesn't have one. He's not much on the holidays. His favorite holiday tradition is hiding away from the holiday. He's not not a big fan of the holidays. He's very much bah humbug. So we'll see how this goes. And with that, I will kick it on down to Calvin.
Okay. Well, hey everyone, I'm Calvin, and I'm playing Roy Todd, aka the Challenger, the sidekick to Champion. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a lot of fun getting into this whole character. His favorite holiday tradition, though, well, when he when he used to perform at the circus where he used to live, they would always have this big old show around Christmas time, like, just after all the big parades happen in the city and everything. And there would be a whole performance, and I assume some sort of song and dance that accompanies it. And he would get to do this acrobatic performance that he used to do with his parents before they were tragically murdered. But he has his own solo thing that he does in the last, he's done rather in the last couple of years. Because he is a sidekick, so he has to be an orphan. And I guess with that, I'll pass it off to Andy.
Hey everyone, I'm Andy. I am here on Monday nights for all of our superhero shenanigans. And tonight I am reprising my original stream character as well, Minerva Vauntner. If you watched our Lost in the Forgotten series way back 2 years ago, this was the character that I originally brought on board to the stream. Minerva is the tank face of the group. She is a former suffragette who was brutally murdered after the 19th Amendment was passed but not ratified yet. And when a rabbi decided to pluck a spirit of air out of the universe to power his golem, he accidentally ensnared her soul. So Minerva's body is that of a clay golem, which she has been able to shape and mold to her old form. And she works as a voice for those that don't have one, kind of, she's kind of a little bit slash social worker slash advocate. And as for her favorite holiday tradition, I would probably say it was sitting around the fireplace with her siblings, popping the popcorn to make the tinsel that would go around the tree. Not necessarily tinsel, but the wrapping around the tree that was all popcorn. So is that just allowed her a lot of time to spend with her younger brother and sister, who she has not seen for 5 years since she died. And with that, I will pass it on over to Kat.
Hey guys, I'm Kat. Tonight I am playing James. What did I put his last name as? Bell. Also known as the Mysterious Boy. He is the sidekick to Alex's main character from the first book, Anson Walker, even though Anson Walker doesn't know that. He dresses as a magician constantly and has the power of illusion. I'm really excited to play him, and he is going to be really annoying, so I'm sorry in advance. His favorite tradition is probably he would be invited to the servants' Christmas after him and his father would have dinner, where him and his father would just sit there across the table and not talk because they don't really get along, and he doesn't know what to say, and his father is sort of indifferent about his existence since his mom died. But the servants love him, and they would try to make it fun for him. So he had at least a little bit of fun that day. So that is his favorite Christmas tradition. And with that, I will pass it to Alex.
Awesome. And my favorite Christmas tradition is my aunt always brings a bunch of sugar cookies that our whole family gets to decorate with all sorts of various icings and candies and all sorts of fun things, and it's always fun to make sort of this. We make a competition out of it to see who can do like the most creative or the most unique cookie design, and it's always a blast. It's always my favorite. Fitz Anson's favorite Christmas tradition: he hates Christmas and everything else. But I think without further ado, we are good to go ahead and get started. So, Titan City, 1924. We come down on the wintry streets of this big East Coast metropolis, winding through the fog-filled streets, the steam vents hissing, cars driving by, people all huddled together for warmth on their way to their various Christmas celebrations. It is the week before the holiday, so people are still finishing last-minute preparations, purchasing gifts, doing all sorts of just last-minute hustle and bustle. There is a genuine cheer about the streets, despite the cold bitterness of Massachusetts. And we come winding into Club Tartarus, which is this massive Greco-Roman style bar in downtown Titan City. We make our way through the preparations that are underway for the Christmas party, the annual Christmas party, as we float down into Minerva Vauntner's office. Andy, tell us a little bit about what Minerva is up to on this particular evening.
So Minerva is probably sitting behind her desk looking at the stacks upon stacks of papers that she has to get through. And not really paying much attention to them because she is currently wrapped up in the arms of her girlfriend, Serena. Serena happened to have just wandered in with a sprig of mistletoe and would not let Minerva go without a kiss.
Wonderful. So she comes in, she brings in the mistletoe, she's sort of cornered you up against the filing cabinets, and you're all having this wonderful flirtatious moment. She's also come in with a series of dossiers direct from Mr. Powers.
Like, I don't have enough on my plate tonight, Serena. Do you see how many new arrivals we've gotten in town lately?
Yeah, I know, but I tried to unload them to Isabella, but she did this whole prophecy thing and she ran away.
Sounds like Isabella. Well,
and the boss asked me to give these to you directly. He said that you were the one person for the job.
I mean, unless we need something opened, and then it's either Eric or you.
Well, gotta let Eric have something.
He does make a mean drink.
And that goldfish is pretty cool that he brought in a couple weeks ago.
I'm still not quite over that whole... I'm not entirely what you would call that. It wasn't... I suppose it was an adventure. Anyway, are you coming with me on this one, or you sticking around while I look through these documents, or are you going back out on the floor?
I'm gonna go back out on the floor. That Buble guy is throwing a big fit about his green room.
Okay.
I hate all these singers from the future. They're the worst.
You didn't say that about the ones that came from, what was it, the 80s?
That was different than the 2000s and 10s, whenever he's from.
All right, well, I'll see you later, right?
Yep, soon as I'm done organizing these green M&Ms.
What's an
I gave
M&M?
back a bowl because they were WWs.
Okay. And she'll give her a peck on the cheek and turn and sit back down at her desk.
Excellent. And Minerva, as you're looking at these dossier files, you do see there are invitations for 5 select people across Titan City. You see an invitation for your buddy Champion and his new sidekick, the Challenger. You see one for a Josiah Bartholomew Brower. What's last name, Jonesy? Right.
Right.
You see one for a James Bell Sr. And you see one for a witch named Hazel Pineworth.
Okay. Minerva will spend some time looking through the dossiers. I'm assuming that's not just invitations, but there's also some information about where to deliver them and some
Yes.
other just random info.
Yes, a little bit of note about some of their abilities. James Bell Sr. doesn't have any abilities, but he seems to have connections in industry.
I would like to make our first roll of the night,
Fancy.
if I could, please. I would like to make an insight check and figure out exactly what all of these individuals have in common that would invite them, that would garner them an invitation from Mr. Powers to come down to Club Tartarus. Besides Champion, more his sidekick than Champion, because I know why he would come down at the very least.
Go ahead and give me an insight check.
That would be a 24.
With a 24, the one thing you notice that unites all these people is they owe Mr. Powers a favor.
Oh, great. It's one of those again. And Serena's already gone, so I can't ask if he expected me to go deliver these personally. What the heck did Andrew do to owe Mr. Powers a favor again this time? All right. She'll get up. She'll have the dossiers and the invitations in hand. She will go to the door, grab her coat and her hat, put them on, and walk out into the throng of people that are in Club Tartarus for tonight's festivities. And she will head to the bar to see Eric.
Eric is there. He is dressed as a Christmas tree. He's got like a big sweater on. He's got a couple of lights across the top of his blouse. He's wearing antlers on his head. And he is serving very green drinks.
You do remember that most of the clientele like it when you dress as a lumberjack for Christmas.
Most of the clientele like it when I dress as a lumberjack, period.
That's fair. Can you have a car brought around for me? I've got a calling list to get to.
Yeah, I can call the call. Do you know how to drive? Or you need somebody to drive you around too?
I'm going to go pick up somebody who should be able to get me around the rest of town. I just need a ride to the first location.
All right. I'll see what Ulrich is doing. If Ulrich's not busy, I'll take you myself.
How's the goldfish?
Still enigmatic. He looks up at the fishbowl on the bar on the top shelf, and the goldfish is looking down at both of you intently.
It could just be a goldfish.
He started bartering with me.
How smashed were you?
It's not a question of alcoholism, Minerva. I know when a goldfish is trying to have a conversation with me. It's a giant secret.
All right, Eric. Just let me know when Ulrich's ready.
Perfect. And he disappears behind the back. A few moments later, Ulrich comes out, who is this sort of green-skinned orc, very well-to-do in his pinstripe suit. He has got a close budged shaved haircut, and he looks at you. Minerva says, I hear you need a ride.
Yep. Gonna go see an old friend and then hopefully have him help me round up the rest of these people that Mr. Powers has called to collect upon.
Well, I'd be happy to drive you.
I appreciate it, Ulrich.
Eric looks like, but I wanted to leave the bar. And Ulrich will take you out to the car, and off you guys go into the snow-filled streets of Titan City.
I hand him the direction or the address for Champion's location.
Oh yeah, that Sparks guy.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what he did this time to owe Mr. Powers another favor.
You know how Mr. Powers is. He likes to deal in favors.
He
Sometimes
does,
he makes
but...
stuff up.
Well, he doesn't go back on his word, though.
No.
And last time he and I were together, he was freed of all his previous debts.
Might not be a debt thing. Might be a maybe Mr. Powers knows that he wants to be involved in something.
If anyone would, it's boss.
Or maybe he's trying to call in a favor on Champion from 1922 and he just got confused again.
He has been having that problem lately, hasn't he?
Yeah, something about the aberration coming up.
Still rubs me the wrong way.
But after a little bit of driving, you arrive at the Champion Chateau. Kevin, what is the Champion Chateau's deal? What's it like?
It is the penthouse apartment on top of one of the skyscrapers in the downtown area. Drew Sparks is the inheritor of his father's wealth, a majority of which was invested in an electric company, because it's the golden age. You have to have that kind of weirdness with your name. And so that money that funds his crusade against crime also affords some decent living space. So what time of day is it?
It's around 8 p.m.
Oh, I don't know that Champion and Challenger would be in, because it's nice and dark out for, crime fight and whatnot. For whatever reason, we just happen to be there. Hey, Jude. Okay, so yeah. So I guess since Minerva likely knows the secret and whatnot, she will take the secret elevator up to the chateau, to the penthouse apartment.
What does it look like as Minerva emerges from the elevator? Champion and Challenger, what are you guys up to? What is the general layout of the chateau from the private elevator?
It's sort of this Art Deco nightmare. It's the 1920s, so of course it's overdone. Champion, again, for the last 2 years hasn't really invested much in his civilian identity, so it all looks very catalogish. It's well maintained, of course. So for whatever reason, we're not out on patrol yet. Maybe it's a little early. I assume there's probably been areas set up so Challenger can, practice his tumbling and so forth.
Probably. He would be at this point feeling pretty restless, like just waiting to actually get out there and get into the action. So at this point, if he's not stopped by Andrew, he's like set up a range of targets using whatever he can find around the house, and he's just firing off random shots with a slingshot, just ricocheting it off several like different chairs or different decor and things, just trying to land it in like a cup he has set on like the exact opposite side of the apartment. One of them probably ricochets by the secret elevator as it opens.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got the full floor to ceiling panes for like the outer walls for a look out at the city. So I assume the snow is drifting by outside.
Mm-hmm. Also, thank you very much, Jupe, for your 100 bits. Please tell me who you want to give your hero point to.
That it, Kevin?
As the door opens, you probably see Drew is just sort of reclining on the sofa while Challenger is, bouncing off the walls and doing his target shooting. You're probably, so just sort of, it's the golden age, so they don't have a costume per se, but probably just relaxing in a robe before the fireplace. You would think it's odd that he's wearing the mask, even though he's not wearing the costume and is in his headquarters. But that'd be probably what you see as you step out of the elevator.
Challenger is 100% in the costume.
So Minerva probably steps out just as the shot hits the wall next to the elevator. As soon as she steps out, it just slams into the wall, and she doesn't flinch, which probably, if this is the first time, this would be the first time she's meeting Challenger.
Yeah.
And she doesn't flinch at all when that thing just explodes on the wall next to her. And she just looks over at you and then looks over at the robed figure wearing the mask at the fireplace and says, "Well, Nice to see you after a few years, champion.
Oh, Merry Christmas. I'm sorry I haven't been keeping up with your training lately, but I've got a new pupil here. So this is Challenger, sort of indicate him. He says, "This is Minerva. This is an old friend. We worked together on a case about 2.5 years ago."
He's gonna quickly scramble to like hide the slingshot behind his back with one hand and then slick back his hair with the other and say, hey, how you doing? Challenger.
Nice to meet you.
So to be gentlemanly, champion will sort of stand up to acknowledge Minerva's arrival, and again we'll sort of gesture for her to make herself comfortable on the couch. So what brings you by on the holidays?
Unfortunately, business.
Business?
Well, either you did something or Mr. Powers is starting to forget that you've already paid back your debt because he's called you in for another payment for for a favor he did you.
Okay, so GM, that's news to me. So is there anything I should know at this point, or?
Nope, this is a surprise to you. But
Well,
you do know generally that it's not a good idea to keep Mr. Powers waiting if he makes a request.
yeah. All right, so Challenger, we're gonna have to delay patrol for a little bit while I go see what's on Mr. Powers' mind.
I think there's one for the boy too.
So Champion had been heading for his room to get dressed, and he just kind of freezes and turns slowly to Minerva. And you know this mask really don't hide much, right? So eyes sort of narrowed. What does he want with the boy?
Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Serena brought me this whole set of documents. He's calling in favors from a multitude of people. So either something has happened that he needs assistance with, or something else is going on. And I'm really hoping it's the former and not the latter in this situation. He's been off is the best way to describe it for a little bit. And I'm just hoping that it's not something more serious.
As for
So
the
he's-
invitations themselves, they are a simple black parchment with gold writing and gold trim around them that just say you are cordially invited to Club Tartarus for an engagement with Mr. Powers.
So he's bringing children into his bizarrities now, Minerva? Is that it?
Not a child.
How old are you?
No offense, kid. I got a lot of respect for your abilities, but you don't know what this Powers guy gets into.
Well, for one, I'm 13 and 3/4. And for two, this is some big important guy, right? I mean, I'm sure I can, get something out of doing a job for him.
Yeah, trouble. You can get yourself in trouble.
He's not wrong. And I'll, it's funny. I didn't think I'd have to give someone else the same warning I gave him all those years ago. But you'll want to watch what you say around Mr. Powers and how you say it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can keep my
He
lips
hasn't-
zipped if I need to.
He has a way of making your words come back to haunt you. Hmm.
You
Champion
both
at
look
this
so
point
worried about this guy.
is really torn at this point. Like, yeah, it's dangerous to keep Mr. Powers waiting, but he's definitely not digging the idea that they're summoning Challenger as well. So he will step to his room and put on his crime fighting gear, which is very Doc Savages, and it's a little, pre-superhero stuff. So he's just sort of got the boots, the cargo pants, the shirt, and of course it's wintertime, it's Christmas time, so we got to throw that parka on there. But he will have his rifle and pistol as well. Since Champion sort of took on a sidekick about 6 months ago, he's been kind of less likely to bring firearms along. Early in his career, that was mostly for monsters, but trying to set a better example for his sidekick, he's been trying to de-emphasize firearms. But so Challenger may be a little off put that Champion is loaded for bear when he steps out in a few minutes.
Yeah, that's probably the point where he actually takes this seriously.
I do have 3 others that I need to pick up and take back to Club Tartarus. I figured stopping here would allow me to hitch a ride with you to pick up the rest of them.
Yeah. So you know where the rest of them are?
Yeah, I've got addresses for everyone.
Any familiar faces?
No, I'm not familiar with any of these other individuals. Not entirely certain what Liam's up to, or Karasawa.
Liam is
Well.
at Christmas with his nephews and nieces.
Okay.
Karasawa is being a mad scientist who doesn't celebrate Christmas.
This is very true. So,
You're gonna need the room. You need me to follow in the chariot, or are we riding with you in the limo?
I already sent Ulrich back to Club Tartarus.
All right, the chariot it is then. So I will. The Challenger probably scurries on ahead. He knows where the elevator to the secret garage is. So.
Yeah.
And as we're heading to that, Minerva will stop you. Yeah, I'm not really happy about bringing someone this young into this either.
I gotta tell you,
so you know.
I've tried to stay clear of all that mystical nonsense that goes on in this town since our last little soiree. But I'm telling you, if something happens to this kid because of your boss, I'm gonna start looking for ways to deal with your boss.
Well, you know I'll do everything I can to keep him safe too.
I know. That's why. It's the only reason I'm agreeing to take him. Powers be damned. I trust you, if not Mr. Powers.
Well, I'm glad I still have your trust. Let's go pick up the others. This night can't get. I don't want this night to be any longer than it already is going to be.
That's probably good. It's a good idea. All right, so we will descend to the garage under the tower and.
Hey, boss, can I drive the car?
Maybe when we know where we're going. The streets are a little crowded yet tonight.
One day you'll say yes to that.
But not today.
So Minerva being Minerva, she would have probably already figured out who next on the list would be closest and would afford us the ability to kind of like go out and come back towards Titan City, towards Club Tartarus to pick everybody up. So who's next who's closest or who's furthest out on the agenda that would allow us to swing around to get everybody else?
It's going to be Mr. Josiah Bartholomew Wright III.
Okay.
Jonesy, where does Josiah call home?
Josiah has a small manor home in the very well-to-do part of town. It's very reminiscent of like a one of the mini mansions that you'd find in the Garden District of Nolans, where it's set off of the street a little bit. There's some wrought iron fence around the entire home, and small little gardens in front. And when you arrive, it's pretty dark. There's a few little gas lights that are that light up the pathway to the front of the house. And there's a small light on the main porch, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of light or activity visible from the outside.
Minerva is definitely no stranger to walking around in the dimly lit areas of Titan City, so she will walk up the cobblestone path, her heels clicking on the stones, and reach for the knocker that's decorating your door, I would imagine.
Yes.
What's the knocker look like?
It is a gargoyle.
It's a gargoyle.
It's a small gargoyle with a ring in its mouth.
So she reaches up her gloved hand, kind of grabs the ring in the gargoyle's mouth, and firmly knocks on your door 3 times.
A few minutes later, an older gentleman opens the door. He very much looks like he's probably staff. Good evening.
Good evening. Is Mr. Josiah Wright III available?
Very well. He seems a little put off, a little put out for someone calling this late at night. He will escort you over to the sitting room. I will fetch the master of the house.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And several minutes later, you can hear the footsteps coming down the hallway off the hardwood floors. And in steps a rather well-dressed gentleman. He is almost 6 feet tall, just about 6 foot, just over, just under, kind of hard to tell. He is wearing very fine garb, but it looks a little dated. Well, it looks a little very dated at this point. He's got the white collar shirt with the buttons up, like, with the little flap, very Victorian, an ascot, a vest. Good evening.
I take it you are Mr. Josiah Wright III?
I am, and who do I have the acquaintance of meeting?
My name is Minerva Vontner. I have something for you from Mr. Powers. It is an invitation to Club Tartarus for an event this evening.
Ah, I was wondering when I'd be hearing from him.
I do also have transportation, but we do have 2 more individuals to pick up this evening. You are welcome to ride with us if you choose, or if you have some other way of making it to Club Tartarus. This invitation will get you past the men at the door.
Ah. In that case, it sounds like you might have your hands full this evening with the amount of people in your vehicle, so I can arrange my own transport.
The vehicle is actually fairly well sized. It is it's a friend of mine who also has business at the club tonight. He has graciously allowed me to accompany him as I make the rounds.
Very well.
As I said, though, it is up to you. If you'd like to head to the club on your own, you are very welcome to do so.
Well, let me go get my coat, and I will join you.
I do love your home. It is not often I see things from so many different bygone eras.
I'm a bit of a collector, you might say.
Oh,
And,
I shall await you at the front door then.
And as he starts, very well. And as he starts walking off, you hear him call out, Desmond, fetch my cane and my hat. I'm heading out for the evening. And a few minutes later, he returns. He's throwing on a long coat. Again, has a slightly Victorian cut to it. A hat, gloves, an appropriate scarf to go with it, because well, the chill. And he is carrying a cane. But there's obviously no evidence that he needs a cane.
Right. All right. Minerva will escort him out to the car, get him in probably the middle. I'm expecting that Challenger has taken up the back seat.
Yeah.
And then Minerva will slide into the front and direct Champion to the next location.
Okay. So Champion will sort of side eye the newcomer in the rearview mirror and drive on.
On to stately Bell Estate. Kat, tell us a little bit about where James lives and what our heroes see as they are coming up the driveway.
So James lives in the richest part of the city. Big mansions. Everybody has like gardeners has huge what are they called? Hedges. Hedges. Um, and James's house in particular is one of the biggest on the block. Um, there's servants sort of like running around the estate as they roll up. There's a gardener, there's multiple gardeners around taking care of all of the grass and all of the greenery on the estate. Um, it just sort of seeps money and old money at that.
Okay. Minerva will head to the front door, knock on it as well. Does a servant come and answer the door, or
Yeah, the servant would answer the door at first.
good evening. I am looking for a Mr. Bell Sr.
Am I role playing the servant or is Alex role
Go for it. You go for it.
playing? Oh.
Jonesy set the precedent. Jonesy was the mother in the last scene.
Well,
Oh, which one did you say, senior?
Yes.
One moment. If you want to come in, you can have a seat in our lounge.
Thank you. And Minerva will step in. And is it very ostentatious in here? Like over the top rich? I've got money.
Crazy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Kind of scrunches her nose a little bit once the servant's like facing the other direction and just be like, oh, it's one of those homes. Okay. And she will head to the lounge, and she won't sit, but she will stand and just clasp her hands at her waist in front of her and await.
We will go to grab Mr. Bell.
Thank you.
And Mr. Bell will come back.
Alex.
Don't
Alex,
make
you
cat-
gotta
don't
roleplay
make-
something here.
As I say, don't make Cat play 3 characters in the same scene, Alex.
Sorry, I'm so.
Why
so-
can't she?
That's reserved for you, Calvin.
Hero point for Calvin. Hero point for Calvin.
I'll give a hero point to Calvin.
Remember, Calvin, she's the favorite.
So
one
yes,
of my
Mr. Bell will come down. He is sort of he almost looks like he's got just the biggest stick shoved up his ass as he comes down. He comes into the lounge, says, "What is the meaning of this?"
You, Mr. Bell Sr., have been summoned to Club Tartarus. Mr. Powers is calling upon the debt that you owe him. And I believe you know what that means.
Tonight?
Yes, tonight. Else I would not be here.
Well, let me see your invitation.
She hands off the invitation.
Your boss knows he can't just summon people like a lapdog, right?
On the contrary, I do believe that is exactly the premonition that he's under.
Well, you should tell him that there are manners involved in this. Not all of us can just drop everything we're doing to run off to be whatever you all are.
As you've had dealings with him, you know that words like that would not go over well.
I didn't know if maybe he was better to your people than my people.
Are you making an assumption, sir?
Just that you're a monster
And why would I be a monster?
because you're working for Mr. Powers closely.
You do not believe an individual can not be a monster and work for Mr. Powers?
Only in extreme circumstances, like the circumstances that have led to my owing him a favor.
I believe you would have entered into something like that willingly and not been coerced. A man of your, she eyes the ostentatious home, means.
I suppose you're right. So, is he asking for me presently, immediately?
As soon as possible. I have a vehicle outside that has several others who have been asked to come to Club Tartarus. There is one more we must pick up. If you would like, you can ride with us. Else, you are able to, if you are able to, you can procure your own transport to the club. Just present the invitation to the men at the door and they will let you in.
I will have my driver bring me down. I don't know how I feel about being in such close proximity to you all.
You again are making assumptions, sir, and I would caution you about that this evening.
I will hold my tongue while I am in the club's walls.
Then, if there's nothing else, I will see you at the club.
And he will nod and let the servant take you out.
Okay.
And he will take the invitation and he will go to James's room. Kat, what's James's room like?
James's room has a bunch of the Professor Mysterium memorabilia just scattered around it. Anything that money can buy, he has. It still has like the posh vibes to it, where it's like very fancy bedding, very fancy like desk and furniture, but everything is just covered with like Professor Mysterious and the lovely assistant, just like merch, pretty much.
Your father visibly wrinkles his nose every time he comes into your room.
It's probably not all that often.
It's like the first time all year.
It's a Christmas miracle.
And it's the end of the year.
Boy, I have an assignment for you.
What is it, Father?
You've been summoned to an adventure.
An adventure.
Yes, something to do with the monsters in town. They're all out of sorts.
He runs into his walk-in closet and pulls on his little tuxedo.
Oh, Christ.
He comes back out wearing a full tuxedo, bow tie, top hat, white gloves. He has like a magician's cane. Like he has everything, the whole get up. And he's like, "Where must I go?"
There's a car out front.
And he'll grab the invitation. He'll be like, "Bye, Dad," and he'll just run to the car.
So
Wait,
but
the-
when go ahead.
He says, "Wait, let me see that."
This?
Yeah, he takes a pen out and he changes the. He puts a J over the senior.
His son will watch him and then just like take it back and then proceed running back out the door.
And
So when Minerva comes back to the car alone, Champion will say, "So he's just going to tell Powers where to stick it."
No, he said he would have his driver bring him to the club. And honestly, I'd rather that be the case. The man is a bigot. There's no other way to put it.
Ugh, great. Well, so I guess Champion will start to turn the car around to leave.
And catch sight of a small tuxedoed person running out in the headlights.
You didn't say he was a midget.
He's not.
Then who's running up to the car right now?
I don't know.
I'll roll the window down.
Why are they dressed like that?
Is this the car I'm running to?
It's the only car that's out front.
He'll just literally open the door and get in. He like walks right past the open window, just opens the door and gets into the car. Onward, fellows.
Um,
So I guess by the voice we can tell it's a kid.
yeah.
I'm
hello?
sorry, kid. I think you're lost.
No.
Can you tell us why you don't think you're lost?
My name's on this invitation.
What?
That invitation was
I'll put it in
for
park
a-
and sort of turn around and look at him.
Yeah. that
James
invita-
Bell Jr. That's me. Also known as the Mysterious Boy.
Oh God, I'm wearing
sidelong glances over at Champion.
The eyes are rolling so hard.
Yeah.
Well, the thing, like, Champion's not even picking up on the, like, he's just a little furious. 2 children? What is
No.
Powers thinking?
No, the invitation was for Bell Senior. This has clearly been marked upon with a pen to change the S to a J, and
When you look at it again, it looks like it says Junior.
do I have to make a will save to disbelieve that?
Gotta get them dice fired up. It's 7:52. We gotta have dice rolls.
As a matter of fact, you do not need to make a will save for that.
Okay.
It appears to physically actually say Junior now.
Minerva's like, no, that most definitely said Senior when I gave it to him.
It says
Hmm,
Junior right there.
I see
Onward,
that.
fellows.
Kid, I'm gonna do you a favor and tell you should get out of this car and not get involved in this mess. You don't know what you're doing.
You all smell the smell of sulfur permeate across the invitation as it says the boy will do.
Damn you, Powers.
Minerva will kind of grit her teeth, turn back to the boy and give him a smile and say, well, it appears that you are coming with us. Buckle up. We have one more individual to pick up this evening, and she will turn her mouth kind of turning into a bit of a sulk, and thin-lipped, she'll look at Champion and just go, I'll talk with him when we get back, but if he's made this change, I don't know that there's anything I can do about it.
Great. He'll look beside him and he'll see Challenger. And he'll just sort of give him like a up to down look. Very judgmental.
He will
Very clearly
receive the same. Yeah, after stopping at 2 very large manors in quick succession, Roy is feeling a bit judgy about their new companions, especially when one shows up in such a, frankly, garish outfit.
That look great.
So
What does
Champions-
Challenger's outfit look like?
Oh, it's
Mr. Glasshouse.
excuse me.
Probably stupid
Wow.
too.
No, it's got I wish it had a cape, but it doesn't. But it does have like the classic like superhero collar. He's got the belt. He's got very similar boots and gloves to what Champion has. But the costume is instead like this bright blue and red with red in like the gloves and the boots. It's a very flashy, very noticeable outfit, a very draw someone's eyes so they shoot at me instead of the superhero kind of outfit.
And you're looking at the person in a tuxedo? Like
Yep.
he looks dumb?
Yeah,
Please.
this is a functional outfit.
You're literally a human shield.
Yeah, only if I get hit, pal.
The conversation in the back of the car is very uncomfortable.
Well, Champion is thin-lipped and barely restrained fury, and he growls, "What's the next address, Minerva?"
And she will give it to him.
Champion will slam the chariot into gear and take off a little more violently than he probably should.
That's fair.
And we are off to the last individual.
Yes, and Rachel is still having bad internet connection issues. She's trying to restart her router to get back on, but she's gonna let me. She's keeping me appraised.
Okie doke. So shall we?
You want to just handle that in a flashback, or
Yeah, we're gonna go to Clip Tartarus now, and when Rachel comes back, we'll flash back real quick.
Okay.
And so
Unless you want to take a quick break here, to see if we can get her.
that might not be a bad idea. It's 8.
Yep, it's a decent hour role play. Don't want to kind of end it there and switch off too quickly, but
Yeah, I'm gonna give everybody a hero point for their role playing and for Champion's poor complication related to child endangerment.
I'm not in danger at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe Mr. Powers is looking for a Christmas Carol group.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
So we are going to take a quick break to get up and stretch, grab a drink, grab a snack, and we will come back hopefully as Rachel returns to us. So we'll see you in just a second.